Okay, hopefully the breeze doesn't get the microphone here. I've been playing around with string lines and whacking along there, not to try and get a level, but to try and get an angle. And the idea being, well, the idea initially was to put a gutter along there and have the angle so that this end is lower, that end is higher, and the water will flow, and then I've got my downpipe there, which basically runs along there and along the side of the laundry here, / storage shed, over the driveway, and then makes the quick cam connection to the big line that goes down to the IBCs halfway down the hill. Yeah, I've seen new estates where these are houses that are 6-9 months old, and you'll come along and they'll have the downpipe that end, and that's the higher end of the guttering, and the lower end's here, and you catch 1.5 inches of water which sort of trickles back to almost nothing somewhere at the midpoint, and that water just pools up there and sits there for friggin' years. And basically what happens is that 10 years later the bastard rusts right through. And sometimes it'll get replaced by somebody who just puts it back the way it was at a speed of just getting the job done, or the assumption that it was fine. The apprentice assumes it was fine because the boss never told him it wasn't, and it just goes to shit again in another 10 years. But you know, you can't really expect that with proper homes from proper home companies, can you? Because their people are qualified. Qualified pastry cooks, qualified bakers. These are some of the people who put the guttering on some of these major Hotondo homes, and this company and that company, and not just slagging out Hotondo, because a lot of them do it. They just go in for the cheapest subcontractor who's got an ABN and says they can do it, and they don't have the qualifications, which they don't necessarily need to have, but then they don't even have the freaking common sense to think of angles, to get the overlaps right, to get the angles right so that the water actually goes down the freaking downpipe and into the stormwater system. Yeah. Anyways, I discovered things are not so groovy with this house either. Yeah, I had it 8 centimetres down at this end, which is still sitting down 8 centimetres at this end. And I had it 14 centimetres at that end. The level didn't look quite right. Do it a bit more. Drop down 18 centimetres. That's right, that end was 4 inches lower. Now this is measuring from like the bottom of your roof sheets down to the string. It was 4 inches lower that end 5 minutes ago than it was at this end. But regardless of the fact it was 4 inches lower at that end, somehow this end was actually lower, according to the spirit level, than that end. So there you go, peoples. Like I keep saying, this side of the house is a foot taller than the back corner of my bedroom. Yeah, and now we sort of find out the truth that it's not just this corner versus that back corner. It might be sort of this whole side of the house versus this whole side of the house as well. So, because it's all not looking quite right according to this level. I mean, I can literally see the string comparative to the bottom of the roof sheets. I could see the bastard going downwards. And you get the level out, and no, not at all. No, it's not going downwards at all. So you can't trust your own eye necessarily, but you can trust the spirit level. And it's a bloody good spirit level. It's actually an American brand, Empire. But yeah, now we've got it equal. It's 8 centimetres both ends, and it sort of seems to be going this way. So I could sort of actually just have the downpipe here, then run the line along the house, right up beside the house, maybe even underneath the floor a little bit, and then come out and achieve the same result. And it seems as though I don't have much of a choice, and I'm just going to have to do that anyway. So anyway, that's what we're going to go at. I can't be terribly sure it's exactly 8 centimetres down because of this. Sort of goes down a little bit, and then we got another one that sort of starts here, wedged a bit, and is literally sort of split off at this end and goes down again there. So it suddenly turns out that one around here I think is only 5.5 centimetres, which then means they're up shit creek again because the brackets are at least 72 mil, and that there might be 80 mil, but a 72 mil bracket ain't going to fit in a 55 mil hole. So I'm probably going to have to just drop it to, I don't know, 10 centimetres, 4 inches on both ends, and I'll have another look. One thing that's definitely gone is this bloody thing, because it's lumping out too much, and I sort of flicked it over here, but it may be affecting things quite a bit, so I'll undo the screws on that, and it won't really matter because that was only there just as a little bit of water protection between this and basically the sheets here, and that there's a little bit of a water off-flow thing. I wouldn't say it's waterproof, but it's made to sort of actually keep water off the flooring joists of decking. That's what it's originally for. And he's had a couple of rolls of it there. Anyway, keep fidgeting around with this thing and see if we can get it right, and I might hammer it on tomorrow. I'll screw it on tomorrow because I've still got to straighten the back of these out a little bit. They're all not quite right, so I've got to hammer those out. There's probably only a couple there I've got to straighten, but anyway. Cobwebs lollipop. So that's that old board gotten rid of, and this might have been why I had it here. There's actually no top edge to this bloody thing, it's just bare glass. So anyway, there's a couple of other screws I've seen which need fixing up. The breeze is kicking in. I'm probably going to put these mounts on these posts here. I think it'd be the most logical choice. Probably one on the end post there. That I had the clamp on before, and don't know how the hell I'm going to do this one where this is. She might be a couple of rivets through here or something. I've considered cutting this end thing off, but it's sort of might only make matters worse doing that. Breeze is getting to this anyway. Oh yeah. We didn't get quite the full way here. I went alright with the string line, which I expected to. Doesn't help that this was sitting out and it was sitting on that, so what I done was grabbed it on that end and sort of lifted it away, but kept it pretty straight, and then it realigned itself. Not terribly good string line, it's joined at too many points. Can't expect much when you find it in a sort of a gravel car park next to a river. That's where I found the string line. But yeah, the whole house isn't terribly spot on either. As I explained yesterday, it's not exactly level how it looks. What looks level isn't actually level. Anyway, it's also not exactly straight when it comes to running down the line here, which means that this one lines up. That one's got some packers. That one's got a little bit of a packer. I don't know. Yeah, you can see a bit of a white edge of the packer there. This is just glorious. I put this on. There is nothing holding the top. That's right. It's shaken. I'm going to have to work out some little manoeuvre. Possibly some little bit of sheet metal to flip over the top of this and screw to the inside or something, just to hold it a bit, because it's bullshit basically. That's just floating, and it's taken this with it. Probably should whack another screw through those two as well, but anyway, I might do that in a minute. I've got a few extra screws and stuff. And this whole thing being here didn't exactly help the levelness of the whole shenanigan. In fact, it's a bloody shitstorm. I managed to get this on. That one's got a long screw that whacks into the top plate here, through there. And that one's actually screwed straight in aluminium framing here. And that sort of works, but all the same, it's not really straight, so I'm going to have to get... My batteries is dead, so I've got no cordless angle grinder for the moment, but I'm going to have to just slice through there. And there's a little trick. You can buy your damn end caps, and there's several kinds of gutter. I should mention that, if I haven't already, the box gutter had a little bloomin' lip hanging out on it, and this stuff fortunately was flat enough, and I never thought I had gutter that really was going to fit it, or fit it properly according to the standards, which say 25mm, which is an inch, to 40mm overhang, I think it is, which is basically, what's it, an inch and 5/8 or something. Yeah, inch and 5/8. But this is, you know, not even an inch. That's the regulations, to keep up with the regulations. Theoretically, we've got to replace the entire fucking roof, which would cost at least $1,000, and that's just the damn steel alone, and I badly need new battens and everything up there, and I'd want to put in more insulation that I haven't bought yet, and blah, 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 blah. And probably more silver paper than I have left. I need another couple of rolls of that. And of course, that's not going to happen. So, all the same, this, by only having, you know, a few mil lip there, probably not much more than bloody 1/8 of an inch, maybe a little bit more, it all tends to fit, and fit quite all right. And it should go well. Yeah, I just done that. I'm going to put me 90mm stormwater through there. That's that bloomin' hole saw that I had from ages back that I used for, I don't exactly know what. But anyway, I think it might have been the exit hole for the air conditioner that I had here. But anyway, I had the 72mm top name bloomin' hole saw, so I've slapped it through, and then the other fitting goes pretty much where those lines are. I now believe I haven't exactly got centre. Doesn't matter anyway, that's the thing there, and we've got to whack a few little rivets, about 4 rivets through that. Some people basically cut out a hole as big as the diameter up here, and then slip it in from above, and I've seen people do that with tin snips. It's a very long dragged out job. Yeah, well, you can just be smart and whack a hole saw through it, whack the bastard on the bottom and just rivet it straight through the bottom, and of course you got to plug up a little bit of bloomin' gap there with silicone, but so what, you had to use silicone anyway. You'll also notice, those of you smart cookies, this is Zincalume, and that's galvanised, and the two don't really like to react too much, which is why I have just spray painted the top of it to give it a paint layer, to hope that there's not too much of a reaction between the two. Having said that, I think they still last about 15 years even when you put the two of them together, but I wanted to, you know, for the sake of a quick squirt of spray paint, if it's going to make it last another 5 years longer, well, all the better. Yeah, like I was saying, you can buy the stupid end caps, and this is one of the common ones, and the box gutter's another common one, and then there's all these higgledy-piggledy bloody ones that are all different. And I mean, I've got other brackets that are like like about another 3/4 of an inch bigger than this. So it's like as though there's gutter that's another 3/4 of an inch bigger. This was already cut and dangling, and I just sort of, well, basically just slid it down here as well and folded it in. And instead of you trying to work out how it's all done, I'll just show you here. Cut down there with tin snips on the back. It's you can cut these with tin snips if you want to just about fucking hurt yourself. It's easy just to cut through the cordless angle grinder around your lip there, and then continue on with tin snips, or just keep going with a bloody angle grinder anyway. And then basically you've got to cut that off with tin snips or whatever. And then that gives you basically boom, 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 nice flat section. And all you do is you bend it from there till you cut over there. And then you just go, and then you whack some rivets through to join the two. And same on the other side. And put a good glob of silicone in there, and you just save yourself farting around in the hardware store for ages trying to get one that's the right size to fit, and then paying like $5 each for the bloody thing, and blah blah blah. And you know, by the time you get that, and you get the one that's 3/4 of an inch too long, and then you take it back to the hardware store, and then you get the proper one, and then you come back and you rivet that in, and then you got to silicone that anyway, so you end up using rivets and silicone regardless. You could have saved yourself half a day and just freaking bend it in like that and done it like that. And that's, you know, it all works, it's all fine, who gives a shit. But anyway, this is going to need another trim, and what I'm going to have to do is, this is just going to go from dumb to dumber. I'm going to have to cut off the top edge again. And sort of fold it inwards a little bit, probably slit down the bottom, fold it inwards a bit, and this is somehow got to be folded outwards a bit, and then there's going to be a bloody lot of silicone involved just to get it to align with all this crap. And while I'm thinking of it all, this is probably a little bit too long as well. And by the time you get up here, look, the gutter ends here, and the shit's like fucking in line with where it ends, so it's not going to be getting anything. In fact, it's going to be covered by it and maybe just get the last little drips off. So I'm probably going to get up here with the angle grinder. I mean, you can break the shit out of it. It's actually a lot better to use an angle grinder on fiberglass. I know you can use a circular saw. I'm not using the reciprocating saw, that'll destroy it. I'm not getting up there with a bloody circular saw and trying to run the generator and lug this damn heavy circular saw I've got. And I know I can cut it with an angle grinder, so I just get up there with a little cordless angle grinder. I've got another couple of discs extra, but you don't actually go through any discs cutting this anyway. And then just and shorten that, because it's short here. By the time it gets out there, it's too long again. Anyway, it's also fucking upside down. Anyway, I didn't put it up there. That was another one of my uncle's great ideas, probably trying to avoid the holes from the previous user, so he's gone and flipped it upside down or something bizarre. I don't know, but the entire lot's fucking upside down, which is real intelligent. But anyway, we continue on, and yeah, I've got to work out how to go from a 90mm down pipe. I've got spare 90mm. Hell, I've even got spare 75mm, which has been phased out in plastic and in steel. But I whacked the 90mm in, and somehow we've got to work out some bullshit to be able to get it back to a 3/4 inch line or something like that. I don't know exactly how it's going to happen. It may very well end up going into some sort of a drum, which when I really think about it, there's nothing wrong with using a couple of 90-degree bends or even a 22.5-degree bend to shoot in and have a little drum sitting here, because a lot of these little drums you can get, I've actually got two, and my father's offered another one that's quite a bit bigger. It's been used for grey water and is no longer used for grey water. And two of these ones I've got, all I've got to do is buy one extra little tap from a camping supply store, and I've got both of these that are one's 60 litres and one's 40 litres. One of them I used to actually use inside my house before I had any plumbing set up here, like overhead tank plumbing set up. All I had was like the grey water, and of course I had a basin, but I needed water to wash my hands, so I used to lug the bastard out to the water tank on the corner there, and then I just started using buckets and refilling it with buckets, and that's why I've got that little bench beside me basin, because that's what it used to sit on. And I may very well, you know, just set it up here and have it come straight into a tank, and then I know I can fit I'm pretty certain the tap outlet is a 1/2 inch outlet, so I can whack a little bit of 1/2 inch line over it, which I've got like 80 metres of garden hose hidden in my little hidey spot in the trees there. All that underneath those box thorns, you can walk under there, and there's stuff I've got stored under there. And yeah, anyway, I could whack that garden hose on, simple hose clamp, and basically run it right along to the 3/4 inch line. I would want to try and keep the tank up, you know, so the bottom's about here somewhere, just to give it that bit of a flow out to there, where this point is going to be higher than the quick cam connector out there. I sort of realised that I can actually probably do the other side of the house. I haven't mentioned that yet, but that's quite a possibility that I'll do the bedroom side of the house as well with this same gutter. And I've got friggin' heaps of this gutter actually, and plenty more brackets. The other side of the bedroom side is it's probably only like from about here on. So, or maybe even that bracket, it's only like a lousy freaking 3.5 metres or something like that. But I'm likely to try and have a go at doing that as well. And then I realise I also want to try and be able to hook into... There's actually an overflow on that. And if I get up on a little, well, even if I get up on its own damn stand, it's a bit dangerous, you better use a stepladder, you can see how much water's in there. If you're a smart cookie, you can actually use like a blimmin' kettle, I think, the same way you do with propane bottles. And sometimes it's just simply a case of that's hollow as fuck. I'll be stuffed. I think it's up. Shit, it's about 3/4 full, or more. More than 3/4 full. Must have got a lot of rain come through in that 35 mil, but I'm also thinking of using either hooking onto this, or maybe even this one. This one doesn't flow as fast, and jutting that off. But then I'm going to have basically this tank, possibly, oh well, probably likely, guttering near the other side of my bedroom there, this guttering here, and I'm not too sure yet, maybe guttering on this. It's looking questionable whether I'm going to do guttering for the laundry. If I do, it's going to be based off the ground on posts and probably just look like a frickin' dog's dinner, and the sheep are going to probably try and drink out of it, and who knows what else. So that mightn't happen for this, but then I realised that, hey, between that tank, this guttering here, and the other side of the bedroom, that's 3 separate lines that are going to tee into one line. So I'm going to have individual taps for all those, probably right on the other side of the driveway, to stop, you know, one emptying out and then it feeding back up the line into another one, so I don't turn the tap on there and then fill this tank up till it overflows on the bloody floor or whatever, you know. So you got to sort of think these things out, but I think it'll be a case of the one around the corner, I mean on the other side of the bedroom, and this one will be pretty much turned on non-stop, and only when it's not raining will I turn on that other tank to try and drain it out. I'm actually shocked how tight that tank is because I've been beating the shit out of it with rehydrating all this potting mix only, what, like friggin' 2 weeks ago? Anyway, it's only a small tank for the amount of roof area it's catching, so I suppose it's understandable, but yeah, it does have an overflow on it, which, you know, I don't know how much is coming out of the overflow because it actually goes pretty much underneath the box thorns, so I'll make use of that as well, as opposed to just having feed the bloody box thorns in the middle of winter when it starts overflowing. Anyway, being honest with you, I haven't, it's about 11:15 and I haven't probably slept since about 3 o'clock AM. Yeah, some nights I just don't sleep with it, crack it properly, and then feel shit in the afternoon, and yeah. Had to go this stuff, but I got, you know, the whole 24 pack for $2. Yeah. Might be a reason it was so cheap, because this place, as I was saying, does deal with discontinued stuff and stuff that's not quite as it should be. Carbonated water, Panax ginseng root extract. Remember, it's sugar-free. It also tastes like I just stuck my friggin' tongue in a bunch of old herbs that are going stale. Fucking hell. I had this before. I think it was the other mob that sells it. The normal version, not the sugar-free. From a different shop, which basically means it's a different batch. And now I know why this batch is a lot cheaper than the stuff at the other shop. It isn't just because it's sugar-free, it's because it tastes like shit. Those of you who ever remember Mother, not the black and red cans of Mother, but the original ones that I think were like a silvery, you know, colour like that. Who remembers the first ones of them? They tasted like fucking shit. And this tastes pretty much the same. And it was so bad, you know, it was almost questionable if the company wasn't just going to friggin' collapse. And got bought out by Coca-Cola, if it wasn't already owned by them, which I assume it wasn't. They're probably going downhill and sold out to Coca-Cola and then just changed the damn recipe to something that was actually worth drinking, and yeah. But anyway, I might fire up the wood stove in a minute and cook a few things.